sign in. You got to have your own howl.
I don't. Well, how many howls are there exactly?
Probably at least 10,000.
Emma, you're
Of
on
course,
mute or
Emma is
something.
suddenly mute.
Yeah, Emma's muted
You
herself.
just need your own sound. You don't even have to howl. It needs to
That's
be a
true.
unique Matt Moscardi sound.
Absolutely true. You do
The
not
Matt
have to
Moscardi
howl.
sound is yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Do it.
I hate that one.
Be you, man.
I know.
Let your freak flag fly.
That is Damion Morales and Emma Damakash. I'm Matt Moscardi. This is the Blowhard Index.
That's your howl.
That is. I like to talk like that when I'm trying to be like a bro. Damion and Emma are my fake clients, and they're joining me. If you're,
I thought you were going to say favorite people, but I'll take fake
they're
clients.
definitely not my favorite people. They're just the only people that I see virtually all the time.
We got to be top 150, right?
It's close.
Oh boy, thinking about it.
If you're watching this, you're going to watch us lose money live on YouTube and Twitch. If you're listening on the podcast, we've probably actually already lost all the money because by the time I edit this down and send it out, we've lost everything. So good.
But wait a minute, Matt. We're not fake clients. You reminded me before the show began. We're actually investing money here, and you're actually helping us do that. So how are we fake?
You're fake because none of it's your money. You're investing my money. I opened up the account.
Okay.
So you're losing me all of my money. Is what's happening.
I'm not losing you anything.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So
I don't think I am either, actually.
Well, almost. Let's go over the agenda today. We have actually a lot to get through today. We're not going to introduce new stocks to the portfolio today. Today, we're going to go over the performance of the portfolio, see what we already own, see if Damion or Emma are winning the race for worst investor. We're doing Q&A. So you both submitted some questions, just 3 questions each. We'll get through at least a couple of them. And they're sort of like philosophical questions about investing. So it actually makes a little sense to do that. And then we'll come back to the portfolio and decide whether or not you want to buy more of something we already have, we want to sell something we have, or we just want to sit on the positions we have. And then just a quick sort of public service announcement. We are going to in maybe not the next show, but in the coming shows, we got a proxy to vote. So we'll go over what's on the proxy, and we get to actually take place because no matter what they say, democracy is alive, no matter what the insurrectionists say. So let's do these things. Let's do some portfolio review time. Are you ready for this?
Matt, I think I saw you at that insurrection. Weren't you wearing like a furry hat and
I was wearing
gun holster?
I was wearing nothing except a furry jock strap.
So I think I don't know.
Which is actually how I walk around Connecticut when I'm outside in the neighborhood.
TMI now
with the dog. That's my outfit. All right, portfolio review. All right, this actually won't take that long. So,
see, if we were sponsored, this would be a great moment to do an ad, right? Sponsored by.
This portfolio is brought to you by Chunky Milk. The
Same difference. Sorry,
plant-based. It's a plant-based milk. The deep fakiest milk we could find. No, our portfolio, we have 21 holdings in our portfolio right now. The largest holding, and this is partially by allocation, but partially by growth, is Grow Generation. 10% of the portfolio. Yeah, you can look smug, Emma. That's fine. 10% of our portfolio is a company called Grow Generation. Our biggest sector is software, which is nearly a quarter of the portfolio is actually software.
Sounds like real life.
And we also like retail a lot. 14% of the portfolio is in retail. Thank you, really? The Real, and whatever the hell that sells. We haven't looked at the portfolio performance actually since before the holidays. I'm happy to say our big winner, Emma, is demolishing
For now.
Damion.
For now.
Okay, so you can play the short-term, long-term game.
She's demolishing me if we cash out today.
This is correct.
Yeah.
Emma, if we cashed out today, is up.
Which we're not.
more than 18% in her 7 holdings. 18% since December 4th. Emma's up.
I'm so angry at the 2 stocks that are dragging me down. I'm so angry.
We'll get to those. Damion is down, or Damien's up 3% on his 9 holdings, but he's down 15% to Emma's 18%. So that is it's Emma's 6x return to Damion.
I feel both disgusted and proud.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it.
So first of all, let's have some. Would you like to make a statement about your portfolio right now, Emma?
Yes, I would like to say to the gods that be, in our destructive capitalist society, that it makes sense why people like to do this. It's very addictive.
Oh, look at you.
Wow.
I like to win, and I would like to win the stock market. But I'm struggling because here's my morality and here's my competitiveness, and the stock market isn't good for either of them. So I'm proud and disgusted with my portfolio is all I have to say.
I like everything you just said. Proud and disgusted.
That might be important insight though, Emma, because whereas I don't care. So maybe that's why you're beating me so badly, because you actually you're getting into it.
No, I'm more competitive than one might assume initially.
Whoa. You can't say no, you don't care. You actually consulted a friend to get a recommendation for something.
That's true.
You came with research about helium. We bought air products and chemicals, which you came to the show and said, helium is effectively a low supply asset that we should buy into. Helium.
Most importantly,
me.
Most importantly, why?
Yeah, I did.
Why wouldn't you tell us who the friend was? Why is that so important to hide the identity of that person?
What about your friend? Which friend?
No,
that was for Brookfield Renewable. That's my friend.
My point is, you're doing research. You are into it. You cannot pretend you're not into it. Damien's research has effectively been, did a woman join the board recently? That's it. That's Damien's research.
No, my research is headline based. I'm the headline guy around here. So I'm doing it purely based on emotional triggers.
Yes. It's like, so it's if the MasterCard commercial makes Damien cry, he buys MasterCard.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm crying right now.
No, the Budweiser commercials are the saddest.
That's
true.
The last thing on the portfolio performance to note here is that when you guys agree, when you both agree with each other, you're down 1.5% on those 5 holdings. So we need to stoke more disagreement because you guys are both better at it.
Can we talk about who chose them though? Who was the one that proposed it?
That's how we have them. You mean for the both?
For both. Yeah, because Salesforce was actually both Damien and I, because we came to that one each having individually chosen Salesforce, and Salesforce is down.
Okay, and then it's down now. I think it's going to be fine.
And then Air Products and Chemicals I chose, and that is up by a little over 5%.
Listen to the chipperness in her voice. Do you hear that?
No, I like it.
And then Adobe was both of us, but chosen by Damien. That one's only up by 1%.
Okay.
And then Vital Farms was Matt, up by 5%. And then Moderna was Matt, down by 21%.
Okay, but which is patently ridiculous, and it will go up. It will go up.
Oh, look, predictions happening on the blow. That's the first Blowhard prediction of the day.
Well, there's one thing I know
will go up.
One thing I know is that both Moderna and Beyond Meat, the only companies on this list that are, reasonable adults, they're going up. They're going to be fine.
They are the ones that are doing the worst by so much.
For now.
Let's come back to this. So that's where we are. The market overall, the portfolio is up 5.6%, and the market's up 2.8% since we started.
Yes, double.
So you are beating the market along with everybody else. So let's go right into Q&A, and I'll oscillate the Q&A questions. I want to start with Emma's first question because it actually kind of sets the tone. Emma asked a lot of
Always start
things.
with Emma.
Emma's first question was about CVS.
Oh.
So we own CVS. It's about 2.7% of our portfolio. It's up right now, about 1.5%. So not up a lot, but up some. So I'm pulling it up. So Emma's question about CVS. Emma, do you have the questions in front of you? Can you ask the question?
I do.
Why don't you ask the question? Damion, go get the questions in front of you too, because you're going to ask yours.
Oh.
I'm always prepared. Don't you
work.
worry. Okay, so my question was, so CVS is up for the first time, I think, since we bought it. This is the first week I've seen it in the black.
She's so into this.
And so leave me alone. So this is a slightly two-parter question. So is that a real thing? Like, is it actually up, or is it just a result of the market being in an upswing at the moment? And should we hold it or just give it up and put that money somewhere else?
All right.
Like Matt would know.
Well,
go ahead, Matt.
I'm gonna actually.
I say this at all of our meetings.
Now I'm curious what you think, Damion, first before I answer the question.
I think I just think they're ridiculous questions. I mean, no, I appreciate why you want to know, Emma. You're not ridiculous. I just think in general, predicting the market is absolutely ridiculous.
It is. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm fascinated to hear what Matt has to say, but mostly I'm pissed that I can't get my smokes at CVS anymore.
Okay, so there's two things I like about this question. The first is that you asked if it was real, because that's the best question to ask of any stock,
anything
performance
in life,
of any kind. Damion spent pre-production asking if any of us were real or just figments of his imagination. So at this
Matt,
point, Zoom culture.
I saw fur-lined neo-Nazis smashing into the U.S. Capitol, and you question my question what's real anymore?
I don't question anything anymore.
Okay.
I just exist like you do.
And can I just interrupt for one more second? That group of people proves beyond a reasonable doubt, without any shred of doubt, that my position of let women run everything is the way to go.
Yeah.
Did you see that group? Did you see that group of people, Matt?
They did manage to kill the one woman who was in it, though.
All right. Sorry. Keep going.
So first, here's what an actual advisor might say to that question. Like, is it real? They might say something, and I did a bunch of pre-research on this. So CVS is now distributing vaccines to nursing homes. So that's a big opportunity that's rolling out now. They might say something about how, them being up reflects that. That revenue stream is likely to last a whole year. Analysts have been predicting, the sell-side analysts. So when I say sell-side analysts, I mean jerk-offs at places like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley who think they understand everything.
Harsh.
They might say things like, they're predicting a rebound. Actually, they have price targets that are above where CVS is trading. After posting a loss last quarter, they're predicting earnings, growth over the next few quarters. And now the stock is trading at like a 12 price to earnings, which is below average. Most stocks trade, somewhere like 20. So that means there might be room to grow. There's not many investors who are selling it short, so they like the stock. It pays a dividend. They might say your one caution flag is long-term debt because there's a lot of it. But overall, they might say things like that and say, like, so your gains are legitimate gains based on all these factors that we know. I think
you got to say something.
There is some truth in some of those things are real, but in another possibly more accurate sense, that's a lot of bullshit make-believe. I think the analyst targets are make-believe numbers. Price to earnings is like a bullshit meter. It's basically like how much more are we willing to pay for this company than it actually earns. And you get a company like Tesla that didn't make any money. People were willing to pay for it and it was negative, right? So it made no money. So those numbers tend to be fictitious. It's really a measure of sort of euphoria in some ways. And in this case, actually, a lot of investors don't like CVS. The CEO of CVS had a whopping, and Damion, it just confirmed that this is whopping, 24% approval for his say on pay in 2020. 24%. Yes.
Wow, that's pretty shocking.
So 76% of the vote went against.
That's amazing.
CEO.
That's a rabidly angry shareholder group there. How bad? What year was this?
This was for last proxy. They haven't filed their proxy for this year, so we don't know what it's going to be. But that's that was the pay. That was the 2020 vote.
Not to that, of course, in America that changes nothing. That's not a binding vote. It's just
the awesome part was in the results that CVS announced, they said shareholders approved the measure because it's an advisory vote. They don't have to say it doesn't matter.
Welcome to America.
They just said 76% of people don't like this. Well, measure approved. That's how that worked.
I gotta say, this is one of the areas where I'm most let down with all of the professionals in the ESG world. That they sit on their hands on this one issue. They fight for a lot, but they don't fight for this to be binding. Like they should be like, stamping their feet and whatever they do when they get mad. What do they do when they get mad? They throw their leather attaché case. I don't know what they do.
There's nothing more socialist than what you just said. Congratulations.
Wow.
But it is a big deal. That also worth saying, just as a side note, that more than 20% of investors voted for an independent chair here, which in the U.S. is effectively like asking a CEO to get a babysitter. Every CEO is also chair in the U.S. Having independent chairs is usually only done when everyone thinks you're terrible and need a babysitter. And then there's this other small issue that's more of a long-term issue, but I guess it's a tiny issue called the opioid crisis, which also exists. At the end of 2020, West Virginia sued CVS and Walmart for distribution of opioids. There are class action lawsuits still outstanding. So the question, getting back to your question, is this real? The first part of the question, is this real? It's awesome. Because the answer to me is almost always no. I agree with Damion. It's almost always, no, it's not real. There's nothing's real. The stocks are like religions. It's as real as long as people believe in it, and they throw money at it, and at some point it becomes the Greek gods instead of Jesus Christ. Whatever. It's as real as you believe. The second part that I like about this question is that you asked, is it going back down again? And that sums up basically what every investor in the entire universe wants to know. Can you just tell me, is this going up or is this going down? Could you just tell me that, and then I'll invest.
Insider trading is helpful that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, the only that's pretty much it. The only way I can answer that question is if I have information that you don't have, and I'm an insider, and then I will know whether or not it's going to go up or down. So anyone who tells you that the stock's going to go up or going to go down is a con artist selling you something.
Like I just did with Moderna and Beyond Meat.
Exactly. That's why I like that. Damion actually made a prediction because this is the Blowhard Index, and that's what we do here.
Well, I just know they're going up.
Yeah, but to wrap it up, you said, should we give it up? Like, effectively, you're a little bit asking my advice here, and as your
advisor,
as your fake financial advisor, investing my real money in your stupid ideas. I would say, if it were me, I wouldn't buy the stock. I wouldn't own the stock. And for this reason alone, Larry Merlo, the CEO, forget that no one likes his pay. Forget that investors are starting to think he needs a babysitter. He literally looks like forget that for a moment. He looks like every drunk uncle you've ever seen in your entire life. He looked like
I've seen a few.
Yeah, he stepped out of like a John Hughes 80s Central Casting drunk uncle.
I gotta look at this guy.
So
yeah. Very, very accurate.
He looks like he's like clammy in the summer, like he's got that look to him. And
Careful, he's
CVS
from Rhode Island.
I know.
Due to his clamminess, you're saying this is a no-go.
Well, CVS, their super PAC, the CVS PAC, was one of Trump's largest supporters in 2018. So you have your clammy drunk uncle who investors think need a babysitter and gets paid too much, supporting neo-Nazi fascists in the U.S. government, who runs the U.S. government. Even Larry Merlo said he's stepping down this year. He said at the end of last year he stepped down this year. So I'll wait for him to step down and then see who's there, but I wouldn't buy it. Has
anyone been tapped to replace him?
I've not seen an announcement of who's been tapped. So there's a good question about succession planning. Congratulations, CVS, for having none.
Yeah. They don't do that. They don't do that, Emma. Despite the fact that all of them say that they are tasked with that, they don't do that. They don't do that in America.
So did that sufficiently answer your question?
Yeah, I think it did. I think that it confirmed what I already suspected, which is there isn't an answer to my first question, and the second question is goodbye to that stock.
Oh, Emma, let me ask you a question. Are you just targeting your stocks that are underperforming?
Well,
I want to get into your head here. What? What'd you say?
Well, I'm here to win. So
but I'm trying to understand your rationale here. So so if they've been underperforming, maybe there's a chance they'll surge, right? I mean, why do you think the ones that are doing well now will keep doing well? You know what I'm trying to say?
It's a great question. And to that question, I provide this answer, which is just a reiteration of Matt's answer to my question, which is
gobbledygook. Yeah. All right. I got it. Okay.
So one of the things that I want to announce now, I guess I could save it till we're done with the questions, but I'll plant in your heads for now. The money that you make on your investments, this show has been built off a democratic process in which Emma and Damion come to the show. They suggest a stock to buy. If one other person agrees, we buy it at a $2 level. If both people agree, then we buy it at a $5 level. The money that you make is yours to reinvest however you want. There is no democratic process for that. So if you pull the gains out, so if you were to sell Grow Generation, you've made $1.71 on that over what we've bought it for. If you sold the whole position, you have that $1.71 to your name to spend on whatever you want.
Okay? Emma, you got 4 cents on CVS. Go crazy.
So don't spend it all in one place. Let's move on to Damien's first question. Damien's questions were less
interesting,
specific. They weren't about a specific stock. So
that rings so true for our personalities.
I know. Damion is not looking to win this. He's looking to have a philosophical debate.
Yeah, I just want to talk about life. I want to talk about the world. I want to know what you think that cloud looks like.
That was so accurate.
God, they all look like dildos to me at this point. All right, Damien's first question. I'm going to take these in order, assuming that you wanted them answered in this order.
What happened to bunny rabbits?
But you can actually ask whichever one you want. Go ahead, Damien.
I'll just go in order. Could you explain your philosophy on short versus long-term investing? This is coming up because of how I think Emma's playing the game. Is there a time when I should bail, even if I'm interested in focusing on long-term growth?
Okay, so what strikes me about this question is you're actually asking my advice, like I have any fucking idea what I'm doing here.
Okay.
I mean, you're asking for my philosophy as if it should be yours. So the first thing I want to do is actually ask maybe the better question, which is really a question for you. How long do you not need the money for? Because if you were investing real money, right? Like it's your money. Like, do you want it or not?
Well, that's a fair question.
But there's a second part to that, which is when do you start to think something sucks? Because
when do I panic?
When do you sell? When do you panic?
Well, you know me now as your client. I mean, my definition of sucking is not whether I'm making or losing money in the short term. My complete philosophy of investing in the stock market is to invest in companies that well, although some of the ones I picked, I don't know, I might be a hypocrite here, but I might get rid of those companies. I want to invest in companies that I want to see do well over the long term. I mean, I don't know how else to play this game because I don't want to invest in the stock market to begin with, but that would be my goal is to invest in things in America that I want to exist long term, like Beyond Meat, for instance.
And Apple.
Apple.
And
look,
Microsoft.
I use an iPhone, so I don't know what to say about Apple.
So, well, we'll get to the hypocrisy later.
I like the hypocrisy. I want you to make fun of me even more, Matt and Emma. I'm okay with that.
Okay, you're just gonna give us permission like that?
Well, I think it exposes.
Permission.
I just think it maybe it helps expose the craziness of the stock market is to talk about our hypocrisies.
Well, first of all, one of the things that you've done is divorce price entirely from your conversation. I don't understand price. So you bought Beyond Meat. When we paid for Beyond Meat, we paid $138.66 a share. It was trading at $138.66. It's currently trading at $116.83. We've lost 15, almost 16% in Beyond Meat. Now,
right. So perhaps when I bought it was way too high to begin with.
Now you're having a price conversation.
But how would one know that? How would I know that when I look at a tech stock like Adobe, which I don't care about, and that's at $480? I just don't understand.
Care about it. You proposed Adobe because of its diversity.
But
disclosures.
But we're talking about price. We're talking about price. Like Spotify. Why the hell is that worth so much?
Well, there's lots of reasons it could be worth that much. It could be worth that much because it makes a lot of money. It could be worth that much because they announced a new product that is anticipated to make a lot of money. No, it could be worth that much because investors are stupid and irrational and think it's worth that much, and there's no fundamentals underpinning it.
I think
it could not be worth that much.
I think we talked about this way back when we started our show. I think the investable world now is kind of loosely correlated on what apps they have on their phone.
So that brings me actually to sort of the core of the question, which is the philosophy that you bring to investing. It's not short versus long term. It's what you want your investment to do. Okay. Short and long is a part of that equation, right? Like you want to invest in your long-term vision for America because you're a Bernie bro who believes that we should all hug each other and
I wouldn't go that far. I'm
not a Bernie bro. Sit in our basement
okay.
and wear Vans shoes and grow our beards long. That's fine.
Pumas, but fine. Yeah, look, don't call me a Bernie bro. I don't like that. That's a step too far.
You live in Maine.
But Bernie bro has a negative connotation. I'm not a part of that scene.
I like that sitting. You just said that I went to a Trump rally and broke into the Capitol building. So
that's not a rally. That's an insurrection. All right. Yeah. Keep going.
My point is that you can gamble, and that could be your philosophy on stocks, or you can say, I am the future of America fund, and that's how you invest in stocks.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Give me the 30-second Blowhard version of this, the answer to this question. What would a Blowhard say to that?
Okay. A true Blowhard would tell you long. A true Blowhard would tell you that they can predict the short term using, some mechanism. They'd make up the mechanism. Technicals,
tell me what to do.
Fundamentals, value investing, arbitrage opportunities, whatever the fucking made up make-believe thing is today. The truth is, investing sucks your ass in the short term. You suck at it.
Well,
everybody sucks at it.
So I'm going to change my philosophy. This is how I'm going to kind of fight with Emma here. Is that Emma's keyed in, I think, which is understandable and fine. Emma, I don't really care. You're keyed in on short-term growth. You're keyed in on tweaking and making more money. I'm going to try this. I'm going to attempt, and that might mean getting rid of some things that I've erroneously purchased. But I'm going to attempt to just invest in companies that I want to see do well over the long term, and we'll see how this evens out over time.
So
Okay.
Emma is our TikTok investor, and Damion is the MySpace investor.
Oh, I don't know what that means, but feels very Timberlake. Okay.
So does that sufficiently, Emma, do you have anything you want to weigh in? I feel like we're going to get deep in Damion's psyche very soon as we go through these questions.
Yeah. I guess that Damion from here on out is just going to use the I want to see this company grow philosophy. We're going to have to get rid of a bunch of our portfolio today.
Yeah, we're going to come back to that because I think his entire portfolio is built on a giant FU to some other large establishment player.
Mine is, all my research was trying to get me to invest in companies that don't totally suck.
Well, no, you picked some that totally sucked. But
okay.
But anyway, move on to the questions.
Well, we bought Apple because you thought of it as an FU to Facebook. Like that is how you invested. Apple. That's how you invested originally.
Didn't you pick like Disney and AT&T and?
It's true. We actually didn't. In all of the bad ones I proposed, you guys said no to.
All right. What else, Matt?
Okay. So next question we'll go to Emma.
Yes.
Do you want to do your next question? Yeah. You can pick either one. I don't care what the order is.
Ooh,
so this is not a dissimilar question to my first one, but is Moderna actually doing that badly, or is it a price problem?
Yes. Why? Why?
Okay, so that is what I like about this question too. You're asking the question why the stock market's doing something. So I think in your first question,
so cruel.
You asked if it's real, and in the second and the second part of that was should we give it up? And now you're asking why is this happening?
Terrible.
I researched this. I wanted to know what
people are horrible.
Like the jackasses are saying. What they're saying is that effectively. It was down because people are taking their gains. So Moderna is down for us. It's down 21%. We bought it at 142, almost 143, and it's down to 112 or so now. Mm-hmm. So we're down a lot in our Moderna. Everybody else is up 500% in their Moderna. So Moderna was up last year more than 500%.
Right, we should have bought it in the fall.
And their point is that this is where the price comes in. They jacked the price up because they knew a vaccine would be coming. They price in the vaccine. We, like dumbasses, wait for the vaccine to get approved and start to roll out and say, "Hey man, let's buy in because now the vaccine's a thing." Everyone else has already done that.
To be fair, the show didn't exist back then. I probably would have bought it then. And also, I didn't consider those kind of things.
I don't think about
price.
I'm not sure we would have because back then, Moderna. What was Moderna? Moderna is the Uber of pharmaceuticals.
How dare you?
They are a loss-making company. They have not turned a profit ever.
Don't call them Uber.
Their CEO has lots of shady shell companies, pays himself lots of money through insider trades. He's sold out a lot of his Moderna and moved it out of his name into his own shell company that's based out of his. I actually looked this up. It's I know where the CEO lives because he gave the shell company his home address in Boston on Beacon Hill. So
very nice.
Yeah, Beacon Hill.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's no accounting for taste. So really, at the time, we would have looked at all this and said, there's no way I'm investing in this. And then we made the classic dumbass investor mistake of waiting until after information's in the market and saying, oh, that's great. Let's buy it now. It's already priced in. We already lost. So the question is it doing badly or is it a price problem? It's not doing badly. It's doing the samely. It's that everybody else has decided, oh, well, we already priced in a lot of those gains. We overpriced the gains. Let's take our wins.
Yeah, it's doing badly in the short term that we're looking at, but it's over the past year, it's doing great.
It's all about perspective. And add to that, the CEO yesterday announced that their vaccine might actually be effective for several years.
Yes.
Yeah, you say yes because you're thinking society, that's great. But they have to sell the vaccine. If they inoculate everybody and it lasts several years, no one needs to buy the vaccine for several years, right?
Just to put this into perspective of people who are listening, this stock started 2020 at $18.89. So about a year later, it's $112.29. So we're talking about this stock like it's doing poorly. It's not doing poorly. It's just doing poorly from the time that we bought it. So let's just be careful, right? How we talk about it.
That is correct. And
Okay.
couple that
that made me feel better.
Couple that with the fact that somehow that makes you feel better. We're down 20%. That makes you feel better.
No, because I'm thinking about the bigger picture of this.
Couple that with the fact that that U.S. authorities and U.K. authorities are talking about only giving half doses to get more vaccine in more people, which means if you simultaneously only need the vaccine once every few years and you only need half of it, then not only did you cut my sales over time exponentially, but you cut them in half already like yesterday because they're only giving half the vaccine. So between the fact that we jerked off the price to 500 times what it was and we're taking gains off the table, and that you may not need the vaccine again for a decade and you only need half of it, we made wonderful classic investor errors.
Well, but again, I'm thinking of the bigger picture here, and I feel like if Moderna is able to come up with a COVID-19 vaccine likely to offer up to 2 years of protection, I'm thinking these are smart people, and that they'll come up with other stuff. That's all I'm thinking.
They fund the management team's awesome argument. Ride the winners.
Well, no, I'm not thinking management at all. I'm thinking of the scientists they've hired to develop vaccines, but whatever. Keep going.
Okay, we're going to nuance parse our way down to scientists.
And it's a hometown team. They're from Cambridge, so
they are from Cambridge. There is that. So, and that is a philosophy. Only invest in the locals.
Right.
And that also is a losing philosophy.
Well, I gotta say, their headquarters is really ugly. So screw you, Moderna.
Yeah. And but the headquarters of their CEO's shell company is very nice. It's a nice duplex in Beacon Hill. So does that answer your question, Emma, about is it doing badly or is it a price problem?
Yes, it does. That was
good question, Emma. Your questions are very fine.
That's because she researches and cares as opposed to
mine was while eating dinner while watching Cobra Kai with my daughter.
I did write mine in my notes app on my phone initially, so there's that.
Okay.
So Damion, next question to you.
Most blowhards are predicting an upswing in tech and ESG stocks because of Biden. But should we believe the blowhards? Does this blowhard advice ever pan out, Matt? I mean, the blowhards love these headlines, but do they ever come true?
Okay, so let's contextualize the question very slightly by saying the blowhards love it now, but before Biden was elected, what were the blowhards saying about Democratic candidates?
Kill the market.
Kill the market. The market's going to be terrible. Everything sucks.
Everything's horrible.
If they come to power, tech is terrible. If they come to power, everything goes down. And now they love it because Trump literally incited revolt. And somebody just said, "Wow, that guy was kind of shit." Any adult will work now.
Now he's shit. Okay.
So this question is sort of obvious.
Okay.
I'll answer it very, very quickly.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it though. Can we talk about what's in our tech and our ESG sector? Which company should we be thinking about?
So what we own in tech is Microsoft. We own Apple. And we own Spotify and Netflix. Salesforce. Those are our tech. We own big tech.
So do we think? I guess the question is, do we think that any of these are going to take a hurting?
Well, why don't you answer that question first?
Yeah, you know what? I suspect, because I'm a blowhard junior, that maybe they're right. Like maybe, I mean, the tech stocks have got to be overinflated. They have to be. So there is going to be a day where they come down, right? The day must be coming.
Well, they make a tremendous amount of money, and the day that they come down is the day they don't make as much money.
You mean, what do you mean they make money? Like the revenue of the company?
Yes.
Okay.
They're also entirely hinged on, you're thinking about it like right now, but they're hinged on the fact that in the last year we have not been able to go outside.
Right. Matt, you're making it very clear to me that I can't believe anyone pays anyone else to help them with like investing advice. Why would you do it? I don't understand.
You just won the Blowhard Index. You just won the show.
I mean, there's so many. There's an amazing amount of variables here, right? I mean, you just cannot possibly pick the one that is going to have a absolute correlation to the price.
That's why, for retail investors, if you're doing anything except buying an ETF that owns the entire market, you're gambling for the most part. That's pretty much it.
All you can really do.
We're going to gamble all day long because this is the Blowhard Index.
Here's my new investment philosophy. If JCPenney or like Target, if they start selling Nazi flags, like swastika flags, I'm going to get out of that. I'm selling my shares.
Oh, really? I'd go long, actually. I feel like that's the way society's going.
Oh, don't say that.
So you've got a bunch of big tech here. And the question is, ask a more nuanced question. Which one of those smells shittiest to you?
Well, yeah, I see. I don't know. I think if we're we're still in the pandemic world, and I think that the nature of working from home is probably going to be changed for several years. So I just see tech doing well. I don't know.
If you ask me what I think about the shittiest one, it's Apple.
Yeah, see, I don't know about that, but
50% of Apple's revenue comes from a thing that they need to brick so that you buy it again. It's the phone.
Right. But they have a pretty good, but I'm thinking of like their track record, I don't know.
Oh, so
they're getting into they're getting into self-driving technology. Someone's going to win that one.
Is it going to be Apple?
I don't know.
So even if they were to win that one, that's a space race, right? You're picking one winner out of a space race of people trying to do it and hoping that they are actually the winner. Now, I actually was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking, does anybody really use FaceTime that much anymore? Because everyone's on Zoom or...
Emma, I called Emma yesterday on FaceTime.
Yeah, but I mean for work.
Oh, yeah, you did.
For work. No, I talk to my daughter on FaceTime all the time.
Basically, you only talk to personal contacts on FaceTime because you both have iPhones. But now that the apps exist for you to Zoom, and you can make direct calls now on Skype, on Zoom, and they have the same functionality as FaceTime. This is an example of how Apple basically functions. They create the technology. They make it prettier than most people. You use it, they hope you adopt it, and then they brick the technology so you have to rebuy it constantly. It is effectively cassette tapes. They remake cassette tapes into CDs, into MP3s the first time, right?
Yeah. Well, here's why I'm long on Apple. I'll probably stay long with Apple, is that despite everything you're saying, everything they offer still seems to work a little bit better. Like, one thing I've noticed about FaceTime is I just like it. It just feels right. There's just the way it works. It just works, and I enjoy it. I don't know why. I hate Zoom. I hate Skype. I hate everything. Not that I'm an Apple fanboy. I'm not an Apple fanboy, but there's something pleasing about FaceTime. There's just something pleasing about how they get stuff done. So I'll just. Not that anyone cares, but I'm not about to sell my $2 in Apple.
Look at that. The warm hug of Apple. It used to be the FU to Facebook was the reason why we bought it, and now we're on warm hugs of, I just like them so much.
I thought I was
not the people.
Here.
So did we effectively answer your question about blowhard predictions and Biden?
Yes.
Emma, do you want to ask your last question then?
Yes, I do. All right. So in relation to my investments that are doing well, so like the Real, Grow Generation, Brookfield, Teledoc.
The Real. What the fuck is that?
I'm sorry, is the Real up by over 20%? I think it is.
Emma, those all sound like the names of companies that are about to not do well.
Not like Apple.
Anyway, so for all of the, regardless of how stupid you think the stock is, how do you adjudicate when to double down on an investment?
Ooh, look at her. Suddenly she's at a blackjack table. She's at a Bellagio.
Have you ever heard a person at a blackjack table say adjudicate? I'm sorry.
That's true.
That would never happen.
Well, maybe when Emma goes with her friends.
Yeah, what do they sit around with monocles and say, how do I adjudicate whether I take a hit on this, my Jack 10?
I've been to the casino twice. I was overwhelmed both times. I do not want to go back.
Yeah, it's a terrible experience.
Smoke-filled, terrible experience.
Stimulating.
But Sheldon Adelson appreciates that you were there. So this is actually sort of an extension of the "Do you think it will go up?" question. Really, it's true. When do you double down is really the same question as when should I get out.
Yeah, you're asking the same. I used to love your questions, Emma, but now I'm realizing you asking the same question over and over and over.
Oh wow.
Are you done over there?
I'm
Go
just putting it out there
or something.
This is all I got. You're beating me badly. So this is all I have.
So here's the question I would ask you. Given all that we've already talked about, right? Like, because you can take the sell side analysts, look at future cash flows and earnings potential. You could determine whether you think the company's undervalued and wait for valuation to increase. You could do the management team's awesome thing. It's like they're the big three of the Miami Heat, whatever, comp you want for that tells how old I am. I'm
Don't
still on
date
the big
yourself.
three, right? Like, there's balance sheet valuation bullshitty ways to do this. Really, the question you have to ask is, do you like it and for how long? That's it. And you can use obtuse data points to decide that. You can use concrete data points that you say, like, this one proves it. And the market won't care either way, because the market can like a thing for a long time for reasons that have nothing to do with like the juicy COVID bath it's been in for a year. We can't figure out why the market often is disjointed from reality. It's really up to you to say, I think this has long-term potential based on whatever the fuck you feel, or you don't. That's it. That's it. So the question,
I'm
double
intrigued.
down.
I'm intrigued to see what Emma does.
I have two thoughts on your answer here. Number one, the fact that you used the term big three in a basketball context and did not talk about the Celtics and instead chose the Heat was upsetting to me.
I was thinking the Warriors, but okay.
No, it's back in like 2008. It's like the 2008 Celtics.
That's your big three. I'm old. So
yes, absolutely.
I'm trying to be modern.
Okay.
No. Also the Heat, whatever. No.
The Warriors had a big four. All right, keep going.
All right. Secondly, all of your answers to all of the questions we have asked have had a component of magic.
Here comes the hammer.
That apparently is entirely what the stock market is comprised of.
Welcome to the market. I hereby W an investor.
At the age of 22, all of these like safe professions that are like, go be a financial advisor, go work on Wall, like whatever.
Who says that? You have friends that think that way?
Well, they've always been posed to people my age, like if you go to work in finance, you'll always have money, and it's a good profession to go into, and everyone does all their Excel spreadsheets and seems to know what they're talking about. But it turns out it's all fake, and no one knows what they're talking about, and I feel lied to.
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say that you know what you're talking about.
But everyone acts as if there's concrete facts backing all this stuff up, and it turns out not so much.
The only concrete facts. All right. There are lots of numbers. There are lots of ways to change those numbers, spin those numbers. There are arguments. There are narratives. The market is built on narratives. The only concrete fact that you ever have when you're investing is inside information. That's it. There's no other concrete facts.
Oh,
there's all
now we're talking.
speculation about where the market's going to go. And the market is an amalgam of morons. It's basically just people making the same choice over and over and over and over and over again. Like, do I think this is going up? Do I think it's going down? They will use different numbers from you. They'll use the same numbers from you and come out with different conclusions. They'll use information you don't have. They'll use less information than you do have. They will still make choices. Their willingness to spend their money gambling on those choices is what separates investors from everyone else. Because investors effectively take the responsibility for the money that they're going to chuck at their dumb ideas by getting gains and losses. That's it.
So what I just heard was anytime I encounter a man who will defend the stock market but make fun of astrology.
Oh, interesting.
Those things hold about the same amount of realism.
Emma, that's a good point. I wish we could bet like on astrology somehow. That would be that's a great idea.
You can. There are actually people who read astrological signs and then invest in the market based on those signs.
Oh no, but that's different. Okay.
We should do that one time.
That's more like Magic 8 Ball though. I'm talking about actually betting on like personality
the position
traits.
of Sagittarius. You can do that.
Exactly.
You can do that because science has figured out where Sagittarius is going to be.
All I'm saying is that the stock market seems to be comprised of nothing real, and at least astrology is based on the stars. At least the stars seem to be real.
I don't know, Emma. Is there anything more realer than $5 of Unilever?
You should do that voice more often. I like it when you do it better. Look, the market.
All this said, I am definitely intrigued about what Emma's going to be doing this week. I really want to get to her moves. What are her moves?
Well, we're gonna find out. The market is full of tangibles, right? Like there are active stakeholders in the market who are real people. Every one of the companies you're investing in has employees. Every one of the companies that you're investing in has a building or a post office box. They have a physical location. They require physical space. Those people require food. All I'm saying is that there are tangibles underpinning things, or it would be astrology. At least astrology doesn't have any real underpinnings. That you can't say the positions of the stars are anything that is a real underpinning to astrology. Everything's make-believe about astrology. So there are real things in the market. It's just the price and how much that price moves is based on a overarching narrative that you get told. The price will move up because.
I feel like that analogy even still works though. So for stock market, the company exists, the people that work for the company exist, but all of the things in the stock market based on that are not real.
Exactly.
And then for astrology, the stars were in those alignments when you were born, but that probably has nothing to do with your personality. But you exist and the stars exist. There's just no correlation.
All right.
I feel like I have something.
Okay, you
got something.
You won. That is something. Damion, let's do your next question. Your last question.
My last question is about screening. How do you feel about it? What if I just like to support companies that emphasize, say, diverse leadership? Is that foolish?
Okay, so
or whatever I'm screening on. It doesn't have to be that. It can be like just companies that get revenue from tobacco, or I don't know. Well, who cares?
Just tobacco, sure.
Just
so really bad.
I've talked to a lot of portfolio managers over time.
Show off.
And they will tell you screening is stupid. They will tell you
what?
They will say what they will say. This is the Blowhard Index. That's what people say.
My whole investment philosophy.
They will tell you that if you limit your universe of potential investments, you are limiting your universe of potential returns, right?
It sounds like even Republicans buy sneakers. Got it.
I mean, I think Republicans exclusively buy sneakers. Democrats are mostly wearing sandals out on green lawns, wearing nothing but a a bison Viking hat, right?
All
Isn't
right,
that right?
you're losing this analogy. Get off of it.
But the great myth is there's only one way to invest. I mean, as we're pointing out over and over again, whatever narrative you believe in, whatever philosophy you have, you can execute. Whether you make a lot of money on it is a different thing. And if you make money, whether or not that was pure luck is a whole thing altogether different from, being good at it. It's just whatever you want.
Right. Okay.
You can ride the winners. Feel free. You can ride Tesla all week because they're a winner. Or you could screen out things that you think are shitty because that's what you believe in. There's not a rule.
Well, I guess you could say that if you think that your philosophy is aligned with everybody else's philosophy, maybe you're onto something.
Well, my philosophy, I screen out absolutely. I say there are companies I wouldn't invest in. And my philosophy usually is underpinned by who I'm investing in, not what I'm investing in.
Right.
I personally don't care about that much about the cash flows. If they're positive, that's all I care about. I care about which moron is running this company and which morons are on the management team and which morons are on the board and how big is that group think. And, are those people that I would actually want to hang out with and do business with? Do I think they're smart? Right. That's the way I tend to invest.
Again, even that, there's no direct correlation. I mean,
nope.
But yeah, it feels good to hate the morons.
That's all I want to do. Hate on morons.
It's the world I live in. That's the only thing that feels good anymore.
So that's where we are.
Right.
I'm gonna close out the section of Q&A, and we're gonna move on to: do we want to do something about it?
I know Emma does.
Emma has been itching to get out of the CVS is now up even more.
And
Emma is going to be thinking, do I sit on this?
Emma, can I remind you before you get going that remember the last few weeks you were showing off mightily about Fubo, right? You were rubbing it in our faces.
Fubo. Okay, Fubo was a trip though. You were
rubbing it in our faces of how stupid we were that we wouldn't let you buy it, and now it's down now. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm not making fun of anyone. I'm just putting it out there.
You are making fun of it and putting it out there simultaneously.
No, I'm just telling her to really think carefully about what she gets rid of.
Well, hang on. I need to understand. I feel like we're entering slightly new territory here. We have our rules and regulations for how we buy, but what are our rules and regulations for sell?
Oh, it sounds
sell difficult. Is up to we do not have rules for sell. I think we have the same democratic rules, but you're going to own the gains. So I don't think it's fair if we all vote, oh, I want to keep that stock now.
Let her do it.
I think you should be able to sell it if you want to sell it because it's your gains or your losses.
Well, what about the ones marked both? Where we both buy it?
Then everyone has to agree.
Okay. All right.
Oh, even. Okay.
But I'm saying the ones that Emma picked Teledoc Health and we all agreed and she bought $5. But what if she wants to let go of it? She can still make that decision.
She has to convince you that it's worth letting go of.
Go ahead, Emma.
Okay. So secondarily, I get the return. So if I were to sell CVS right now, I have a return of 4 cents.
Yes.
Yeah. Take it down.
Well, Emma, but
wait.
Before you go any further, it's a little bit more than that though, because you might be thinking that it's going to go down and it's going to cost you $1. So it could be a bit more than 4 cents if you look at it that way.
Ooh.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
But hang on. There's the second part. So then with that initial $2 that we invested, does that just go back into the Blowhard fund or can I put that $2 elsewhere?
She's overthinking.
You only own the 4 cents. The $2 is mine. It's my money.
The $2 is yours.
It's the Blowhard Index fund.
And I don't get to put any more money into anything else other than my return.
No, then we go back to the you pitch a stock and you can put $2 into it if we all agree.
But if you're worried about something tanking, Emma, you should bail.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, you just made both arguments. Making all the arguments. Bail, but do it carefully because maybe not.
No, I don't. I'm just putting things out there.
Emma, do you have any? This is your moment. If you need a second to think, we can turn to Damion. But this is your moment to pick whatever you want that's yours, or even both, and make a case. You can destroy it. You can take it down. You can do whatever you want.
Okay. All right. I think I do want out of CVS.
We're out.
Is what I think.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
We didn't agree with it in the first place.
Well, someone did. That's why we invested.
You agreed with it.
Sell all or sell some?
Oh, you're right. You're right. One of us. Yeah, you're right, Emma.
Sell all, I think.
You think
No,
or
we should
you do?
I don't want to do a sum. That's too confusing. Just
Yeah, I
dump
know.
it.
I think do it all. Let's get rid of it all.
Order received. It's a mark. These are market orders. There's a thing that we're not talking about, which is the kind of orders that you can put in. So you can lock in gains by putting in orders for sell at a certain price. But we're not going to do that because it's complicated and annoying. And if it doesn't hit that price, then it doesn't sell. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do only market orders. We're going to sell it for whatever the market order is. Well, we should get, it looks like we already sold. So it's already out. We got our price. You're going to have your 4 cents of gains. Congratulations, Emma. Making money. Damion, you go next. Anything you want to sell?
I don't know how I feel about Emma's investment philosophy. She just picked the one that's not doing well and got rid of it.
Well, it's been
weak
like that was one of the first, I think that was our first show. So we've had that for a month.
Look, you have to recognize something. I'm going to take a second and talk to the listeners. This is a listener moment about clients. You have to recognize something about your clients. Some of them will have some vague imposter syndrome. They will feel like they have no idea what they're doing, and they don't. But the result of that will be a strong desire to, when they have gains and they're feeling good about it, to not necessarily make a rational choice to sell off some of those gains. It will be, oh my God, one of my losers is finally positive. Get me out of it. And there's no actual logic behind that decision. So in the end, your clients are all imposters, and so are you. That's my moment with the listeners. Go ahead. Damion, it's your turn to sell or double down or make a decision in the existing portfolio. Now, double downs require agreement because you're buying more.
Right.
Unless it's with gains from something else.
I mean, I'll start with only the ones that I control. The only one that I kind of want to get rid of is GM.
But, giving up on a female CEO.
Right, but I haven't finished my thought though. There was an ellipsis at the end of that statement. But I also don't want to be the one who just bails on things. I'm confused. I'm confused. That's my statement.
Mary Barrow would be so sad. She's been listening to her stakeholders.
What I really want is I want Emma to make a lot of decisions this week and have them all fail. That's what I'm hoping for. Because she's so cocky that now she thinks she understands the market and she's gonna tweak like crazy. I wanted to see her tweak.
Astrology, Damion.
Wow.
I want to see you tweak. What I really want to do is I want to double down Beyond Meat.
Ooh, buying into the loss is something that people often do. So we'll come back to that. Or is that your decision? Are you selling GM, or you want to propose?
I'll hold on to it.
Oh my God!
I do want to see. I want to see an American manufacturer do well.
So, are you making the decision then to buy into Beyond Meat?
I would like to double down on Beyond Meat. Sure. Now
that requires agreement. How do we feel about adding money into Beyond Meat now?
Emma's going to say no.
Shitty.
All right, let's just forget it.
I am into it though. I am with you on Beyond Meat.
Well, if Matt agrees with you, then
yeah, we're buying.
You get to do something.
Oh, we are okay.
I just feel
like Beyond Meat's going to be the first like meatless Tesla stock.
That makes me less wanting to buy it, surprisingly. No, we're going to buy another $2 of Beyond Meat. So here it is, swiping up, order placed. We're getting deeper into Beyond Meat.
I like the sound of that.
Deeper into a 15% loss. Emma, any other moves you want to make? Or are you done, or are we doing more?
I don't.
What about the ones that are doing really well? Do you think they're going to keep doing really well?
I'm looking at Grow Generation, which is up almost by 30 points. And I'm like, do I double down on it? That one we have even the most money in. We have $6
doubling
from that
into
one.
gains. That's an interesting
What do they do
too.
again? What do they do again, Emma?
They're weed adjacent.
They're hydroponic farmers.
Yeah, it's like and why is that going to last? Isn't this like going to be like a saturated field?
There's rationale for this, that I can maybe a shitty one, but I can think of one. So, of course, a bunch of states just passed a bunch of weed legislation, so that's good for the big marijuana industry, and that means more hydroponic farming equipment is necessary, and more people are going to be purchasing it, and it's all going to weed adjacent. And with the Biden administration coming in, I'm sure that the marijuana market is pretty excited about that and has stuff in the works.
Except, of course, like cars are legal, but you're not buying Ford.
Yeah, because cars are hopefully a dying industry.
That would be nice.
So you're mixing a little bit of short-termism with long-termism, right? You wouldn't buy a car because it's a dying industry like 20 years from now, but you double down to grow generation because you think weed's going to be hot in the next 6 months.
I think that, first of all, I think that weed is forever. I think that
it has. I don't think it becomes.
That is your bumper. Your vanity plate was weed forever. Yeah.
Oh yeah. My mom got it for me for my birthday.
It's a good question, Emma. I mean, do you think it ever becomes just uncool because eventually you can buy it at CVS?
In which case, should we buy back into CVS?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, alcohol, that we went through a prohibition and then it became legal and people still drink.
It's true. You're right.
Anything to get away from reality.
Exactly. Well, we live in a horribly oppressive capitalist society that slowly grinds our souls down.
That you love making money in. Woo!
It's all a game. Like, I feel a similar level of competitiveness with Monopoly to the stock market. Like, it's the same.
That's roughly correct.
So, yeah, I don't know. I sort of do want to double down and grow generation.
Do we know, Matt, do you remember, do you know who runs this company? Do we feel good about them?
We did. We bought them at $6. We all, not only did we all agree, I added $1 because I liked Emma's argument for grow generation so much, because they are weed adjacent. They're hydroponics.
We're all
so
just
they don't require weed. They actually are.
We're all just feeling a little sticky, icky. I'm going to take a quick look at grow.
Well, and with all of these sustainable changes, farming is definitely going to be one of the highly affected industries of whatever new technological advances and practice advances come with people trying to mitigate climate change. So a farming company probably isn't a bad bet in that respect either.
I was deep into, we bought a lettuce grow in our house, which is like one of those indoor hydroponic. We bought indoor hydroponic stuff.
So West Hartford.
It's the same technology and same concept that Grow Generation basically does, which is they enable indoor, sustainable farming. Now that it happens to get used for weed is one thing, but that it exists and has deeper market potential is what's interesting to me.
Take a look at the management team I just sent you.
Oh, I'm looking currently. It's not impressive.
Right? It's not what you thought, right? I mean, I was expecting something completely different. In fact,
it's farming.
In fact, I'm pretty sure at the end there, Bob Nardelli, I wish we had Rick Marshall on the show today. I think he's like a corporate governance pariah. I think he's like one of the biggest offenders in the corporate governance world. He's, formerly CEO at Chrysler and Home Depot. Again, like,
God,
I opened the management page just to see, like, if these are millennial Zoomer types, maybe I'd kind of buy into it. But I just wonder. I don't know. But then again, they're probably great at making money. So who knows?
None of them are women, or they're just all men.
They're all like shitheads.
Every single one.
Let's be fair. Well, it's not who you want to hang out when smoking weed. Can we at least agree to that?
Nardelli, to your point, it was actually he was the CEO of a group called the Freedom Group, which is a gun maker. They
that
own
sounds
Remington.
bad. Oh. Well, you're pro gun now, Matt, so that's fine.
I'm shooting
Matt,
stuff right now that under the table.
the director of the board went to Brown.
Oh, there you go. That's
you have
important.
to invest in them.
Have to.
Wait, even the board is wait, so the management and the board are just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. The board has quite
I'm done. I'm out.
nothing except white men.
I'm not gonna I'm ready to sell, but if you don't want to sell, I'm not gonna agree to your double down. Sorry. I'm ready to bail. Can we just find another weed company?
But they're
I don't like these guys.
Look,
you guys are bugging me.
The tagline for Grow Generation is where the pros go to grow. That is worth $6 by itself.
That pro bros.
They also have a really trippy logo. It's very colorful, unlike many other companies. It feels maybe they're all secretly stoners.
I think we should do an all logo purchase show, which I think that's an important future show. But for now, I'm also out on doubling down, mostly because the allocation's large enough.
Okay, fine.
So Damion, back to you. This is another shot to sell or double down.
Can I sell Grow Generation?
You could propose it, but we just nixed buying more. So
I'm gonna do something a little odd. I'm gonna throw this to Emma. What would you get rid of if you were me? Of my what do you hate the most of my
that's
stuff?
That's just so passive aggressive. It's
no, I don't think I just don't really want to sell anything. But I'm just curious what you guys hate the most.
I mean, if I were you, I would want to sell Unilever probably.
Except the Unilever is my Ben and Jerry's. That's my like.
Did you see Ben and Jerry's statement on the insurrection?
What, we love it?
No, actually.
Eat more ice
Ben
cream?
and Jerry's were just like a bunch of neo-Nazi fascists just stormed the Capitol, get rid of Trump, any means necessary. That was basically their
Did they
statement.
really say that?
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to get rid of it.
always does that.
Then I'm keeping, I got to keep Ben and Jerry's.
But it's not Ben and Jerry's, it's Unilever.
Well, that's what's sad, Emma, is that it is. Unilever is Ben and Jerry's. That's the frightening thing.
Look, Ben and Jerry's is going to exist. Ben and Jerry's will always exist, even if Unilever is a bad company.
Okay.
But so just get rid of it.
So that's your argument?
Yeah.
Because it's always gonna exist? Nah, I'm gonna hold on.
It's a small
Matt swayed me. Matt swayed me with that.
You just Matt's Twitter statement was all it took. But they did hit all my statement rules.
Didn't you convince me recently, Matt, that Unilever actually does do a lot of interesting things?
Unilever is actually as these massive companies that own everything go, it's going to get harder to do better in some ways than how Unilever does it. They're terrible,
right, which was not quite the eloquent explanation you gave me before, which had actual concrete examples. But I'll go with it.
Yeah, correct.
They're better.
Mm-hmm. Even though they just got sued because there's formaldehyde in its shampoos.
Is that bad? Are you drinking the shampoo?
Shampoo anyway.
That's true. I'm with you, Matt. It's bullshit. All right. I don't know.
Shampoo is bullshit.
I'm not. I don't even like my portfolio, so I think that I'm gonna start to redevelop it next time we can buy stuff. But I don't have anything to get rid of. So
you don't like it, but you don't want to sell any of it.
I'm really interested to see what it looks like as the new year develops. Now I'll make a decision later.
Emma, last shot. Any more?
Okay, I am gonna pitch one more double down.
Well, okay.
And I'm deciding between
Teledoc Health.
I actually think I'm gonna pitch a double down in Teledoc Health.
Is that really how you spell Teledoc? Shouldn't it be T-E-L-E?
No.
Okay.
So Emma, your philosophy has turned into I'm going to pick the big winners and just try to buy more of them while the stock price is
It's honest.
No, actually,
there's a lot of big winners.
That's actually not my thinking. If I were going to do that, then I would go for the real or Brookfield.
To be fair, Matt, she has a lot of big winners, so I don't know if she's doing that.
That's true. She is up over 18%.
Yeah. Killing it.
So for Teledoc Health was actually down for like the majority of the time I've had it, and then all of a sudden sort of had this big turnaround. But I think that just from common sense, Teledoc might be a decent one to double down on, because the whole premise is healthcare, like more accessible healthcare. And in the new age of dealing with vaccines and all of the health fallout from COVID, and people not wanting to go into doctor's offices and go into public spaces, I think that Teledoc Health is just sort of a solid an idea.
You know what, Emma? Here's how I'm going to support you in a very bizarre, aggressive way. I'm going to let you double down on it because I think it's going to fail.
Wow. Damion just stepped into the game.
Because isn't everyone going to be doing Teledoc Health? I mean, even my stupid doctors here in Maine, I actually like my doctor, but they do things over the phone and the computer. It's not that exciting. All right. So let her double down.
So, Matt?
Here's why I feel like you're buying into the narrative, but the narrative's already priced in. Teledoc drops roughly around when the vaccine rollouts start. Mm-hmm. And Teledoc rises roughly around the fact that we find out there's a COVID variant that's more contagious and they're locking down cities again.
Mm. Yeah, except Emma knows already, Matt, that you don't know that for sure. You're just guessing.
Of course.
You played your hand earlier.
I don't know that, but I'm guessing what the market narrative is suggesting. Roughly by looking at when it goes up and when it goes down. And when you check the news what they've released, they haven't released any new earnings. They haven't released any new indicators. There's no new filings, which means the fundamentals haven't necessarily shifted for Teledoc. You're only looking at what the news feed is. And
let her do it.
The news feed suggests that you'd be just buying in while it's high. Because
it's the highest it's ever been. Let her do it.
That is correct. It is the highest it's ever been.
Let her run
that it
wild.
IPO'd like last year. So yes.
What's the fun in having a friend who doesn't let you drunkenly gamble? Come on, let her. What are you doing, Matt?
Well, you already overruled him.
You already agreed. I have to buy it.
Oh, yeah. Good. Okay. All right. Never mind.
We're buying $2 more.
Good.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going to start to, I think, catch up to Emma. I'm just going to let Emma overzealously do weird stuff, and I'm going to start catching up.
Great. That fits in with my plans perfectly.
So far, this has not worked out well for you. That's all I'm going to say.
Emma, will you sell your laptop and put it all in the reel?
Sell my laptop?
Yeah, so I can really catch up to you.
Yeah, I guess.
Is there anything else, Damion or Emma, that we're selling, double downing on? No. Okay. So congratulations to you two fools. We now own more of some shit. And somehow managed to get rid of none of Damion's losing shit.
The next opportunity we have to sell, I want to do some research first about who these people are, and I'm going to get rid of some stuff. I just don't have a full understanding of who. I don't have a full understanding yet. What?
All of the people are going to suck, each and every one.
No, it's not completely true. I'm like, my weird philosophies that you guys make fun of, like a black, female chair at Starbucks. I'm not letting go of it because of that. So I'm not, but there are some that I kind of stupidly bought. So I'm going to look into it a little bit more. Yeah.
I wasn't aggro against buying a company because they have a black chair, female chair. I was aggro at the idea that you'd buy into a stock simply because they have a black female chair. In which case, what you should be doing is screening the universe for everybody that has a black female chair or a black male chair or a person of color in a position that you think they should be in, and then buy all of those companies. Well, you could do that, but you're making a rando choice.
Maybe if my former employer gave me a lifetime subscription to their product, I could do that. I don't know how to do that anymore.
Just go one by one and look at their pictures, and then you can you can decide how brown they are for you.
Matt, there's one female board chair, so that conversation's over.
Done. You bought one of them.
Okay, good.
Did it.
The last thing we have on our agenda today, very quickly, before we wrap up this shit show, is we have a proxy to vote. As shareholders, you might not know this, people. You actually are, it's equally, if not more democratic, because there's no gerrymandering as a shareholder. Assuming you don't own Facebook or a fake public company, you get a vote. You get a vote.
All right.
Our vote has come in. Our proxy card has come in for Apple. I'm just going to list out the items of business on the proxy card what we'll be voting on. We're not going to talk about it now. We're actually going to save it for a future show because you need to do some research on it. But here are the things.
They don't even have fun proposals this year at Apple.
Yeah, it's lame proposals. But we're going to get more of these proxy votes over time. But here's the things on the card for us this year. First of all, to reelect the board of directors. They allow you to reelect the entire board every single year. The board is James Bell, Tim Cook, the CEO, Al Gore, everybody's favorite environmentalist, Andrea Jung, Art Levinson, Monica Lozano, who's brand new. She's the one brand new board member they're adding. Ronnie Sugar. He's one of my favorite all-time board members. And Sue Wagner. That's the board slate. We will get a vote for each of them.
I gotta say, there's too many women, too many black people, too many Asian people, too many gay people. I don't like that board.
Yeah, I know you're
too
out.
Many, too much.
You only want to go for when there's one black woman who's the chair of the board, not this much.
No,
diversity.
I want 2 black chairs. I like that.
Double black chairs.
So many chairs. I want a sectional.
A black revolving chair. I'm only voting for black duvet covers from now on. We also are going to vote to ratify Ernst & Young as the auditor.
That's an easy no.
We're going to vote on say on pay for Tim Cook. We get a vote for Tim Cook's pay.
Too rich, Tim Cook. Get over it.
We get a vote. Then there are 3 or 2 shareholder proposals and one item for anything that comes up at the meeting. The shareholder proposals are to amend proxy access, which is amending the rules that allow shareholders to elect their own board members, and improving executive compensation. Apple is suggesting you vote against both of those. In standard fashion. So those are our votes. That's what's coming up. We'll go over those next week, and then we'll start adding some more stocks again into the portfolio. That's all I got.
Stocks. Okay, we can bring stocks next week to buy.
Next week we'll bring some stocks to buy. Right. I think we're just gonna do 1 or 2, but that's what we got for the Blowhard Index.
I'm going to give you a preview into one of the ones I might pick. It's called Fubo TV.
Thanks, Emma, and thanks, Damion. We'll talk to you next week.
Later.